Zillow and OpenDoor are not buying. At least they're not buying right now in Arizona. So what is going on? And is this craziness with the coronavirus and the stock market and the recession affecting our local wholesale market? Well, here in Arizona, outside of everything going on with the news, with the virus, with the stock market, real estate, for the most part, seems pretty normal. With the exception of a couple things that I wanted to address. OpenDoor and Zillow came out and said that they're not buying. I just got off the phone with one of my close buddies, and he works in the home building business. They get on a call every single week, and they talk about their pipeline. All the sales reps of this big builder get on a call once a week, and they talk about their pipeline. You know, is everything looking solid? Is there any cancellations coming up? So that the company has a pretty good idea of, while these houses are getting built, that, a good pulse on any cancellations, etc. And one of the things is on this last meeting that they just had this week, more people were, having deals falling out. People are saying, one guy, I lost my job at my casino, so I'm not really sure, so I'm going to cancel. And there was more cancellations happening with new builds. Now, I don't know that trend is going to continue or what's going to happen, but like everything, we'll continue to monitor the situation. But it's something to think about. So I know a lot of people have jumped into building over the last year, 2 years, as inventory's been record lows here in Arizona and demand's been super high. I, for one, am glad that I stuck to what I know and have kept wholesaling and have not done that. But it's been very interesting. Wholesale cancellations. I think I mentioned on my last video that the title company has seen a few, but not many. I almost encountered one, but I haven't had one yet. So thank goodness. We have had a few closings in the last week, so everything seems to be okay. I looked at retail cancellations. I don't see anything super high there as far as stuff on the MLS. But I did go back and pull how many houses have went, just as of like a minute ago, how many houses have went pending from last Thursday to today, and 2,508 houses in the Maricopa area, which is the Phoenix area, have went pending. So that's a rate of a little over 10,000 houses a month. Now, obviously, not everything that goes pending closes, right? You have cancellations, you have people that go through their inspection periods and back out, renegotiate, etc. But that's a pretty healthy number. Historically, we close, depending on the season, anywhere between 8,000 and 12,000 houses a month. So if we put 2,500 under contract last week, like that's super healthy. In spite of everything, I mean, this last week, I think things have gotten crazier and accelerated faster than they have in the last couple months with everything since first it was China and then the cruise ship and then it started spreading, then it was Europe, and now it's like in our backyards. And I mean, I'm driving last night at 11 o'clock on the freeway. I'm like the only person on the road. It actually felt eerie. So it's interesting. What's going to happen next? I don't really know. I know we're trying to be careful with our offers, not get overly aggressive and offer huge non-refundable earnest money to sellers or stuff like that. Some of the stuff that we've done in the recent months and last year to be really competitive and get deals when sellers are talking to multiple buyers. Some of that stuff now we're kind of backing off a little bit, being a little more conservative, because if we have problems selling a deal based on the buyers kind of freezing, we want to be okay in that deal. We don't want to surrender money. So it's very interesting, guys. A lot of the people we've been selling to in Arizona the last couple of years have been people that got into the house flipping business in the last couple of years. And what are they doing right now in uncertain times? Well, a lot of them are kind of freezing and going, I don't know what to do. So again, we're on the trail and we're at the beginning of this, right? So a lot of stuff is leading indicators. So we're not going to see the effects till later. So we're going to have to keep assessing this data and reporting. And like I said, I'll continue to keep you guys posted on what I'm seeing, talking to my title company, my builder friends in my own business, watching the retail stats. I'm a broker and have been now for, in Arizona, I've been licensed for a long time, over a decade. But it's interesting, guys. I've got a few projects myself right now going on. Now, I don't do fix and flips, and I don't do any new builds, but I've got a really nice $300,000 condo that we just recently bought that we were putting about $25,000 into as a rental. We're about $6,000 into it, and I'm like, hold on, stop the project. Like, I don't know if I want to continue to pour money into it at the moment. I kind of want to wait for a minute and see what the heck's going to happen. I've got a couple properties that are just about to hit the market that we're doing rehabs on, and they were about to go on the market, so we could sell them and then buy more rental properties with the proceeds because they've gone up in value. So we were going to do a 1031 exchange, which is, for a quick example, on a 1031, guys, you buy a house at 100, it goes to 200. Rather than sell it at 200 and pay capital gains tax on 100,000, you can sell it at 200,000, and as long as you don't touch that $100,000 gain, you can reinvest that into another property or properties, right? And you don't pay any taxes. You can defer all the taxes. So if you have $100,000 in equity, you could go out there and buy 3 houses, 30,000 down, 30,000 down, 30,000 down. And if they're wholesale deals and you get them with $20,000 or $30,000 equity on each deal, you can quickly build, an extra 100 grand of equity, more cash flow for your portfolio, and great leverage quickly, especially with the low interest rates right now. But we're kind of like, do I want to write checks to contractors right now? Like, I'm just kind of like in a little bit of a holding pattern, or do we want to go out there and buy silver, right? Like, things are crazy, guys. So, that's my projects. The bottom line is that in times of uncertainty, a lot of people just sit back and wait and say, what's going to happen? All right. I think we can all feel the tension that's rising right now between China and the US. There's been a trade war going on for a long time, but all of a sudden now, like, shots are being fired verbally between our president, between people over there. I know in China, they said that they accused the US of bringing the virus to China. Washington responded, pretty upset about that, that they accused us of that. So it's like, who knows what's going to happen, guys? It's not even just, originally it was just the virus, right? And I was like, well, most of us are going to be safe, right? And then it was like, well, it's not just the virus we're worried about the economy. And now what I'm more worried personally is not just necessarily the virus or the economy, but what's next? Like, is this just something that's just going to turn into like that virus that happened and that spurred like a little bit of a recession? Or is this going to like change the way we do things forever? Kind of like 9/11 did, where all of a sudden health organizations could change, right? Stuff, crazy stuff. I don't want to throw conspiracy theories out there right now, but I've got 5 or 6 on my mind that I'm not sure which one it's going to be or how many of them it's going to be, right? And I hope it's none of them. I know who's in control, and that's where we put our faith and hope. 2 Timothy tells us not to be timid, not to be have a spirit of fear. So we're going to keep acting on the data we have right now. We're going to keep doing business. I can tell you that we have a lot of mail hitting right now. We have a lot of phone calls going out right now. We have a lot of lead generation going on right now. So we're talking to sellers a lot, just like we always are. And they don't seem super panicked. Like, I want to sell my house cheap right now because I'm worried about it tanking. Like, they seem, at least in Arizona, like they kind of seem normal-ish so far. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If you're not familiar with what the VIX is, it's basically an exchange-traded fund that you can bet up or down against market volatility in stocks, right? So when the VIX is high, that means there's a lot of volatility. When the VIX is low, that means that it's pretty stable. And the chart, I'm going to take you to it right now, is crazy, which shows that nobody knows what's coming. So be smart, be prepared. Make the best decisions for you. I would say it's not the time to stop marketing. It's the time to do more marketing, but just be careful with your offers and with your promises to your sellers as far as earnest money, as far as their personal situations, right? Do the right thing, be business owners of integrity and high ethics, and go out there and do a lot of deals. And whatever happens, there's going to be opportunity out there. And we, as a country, as a humanity, as local communities, we will be okay. We will be strong. So I'll keep you guys posted. And let's take a look at the VIX real quick. If you're getting something out of this, please hit that little like button down there. Then on the other side, click subscribe. And next to it, tap that little bell. And you're going to get notifications every time we drop a new episode. All right, guys, so here is the VIX, and if you look, it starts moving on me. Here, let's just look at 1 day. The VIX has actually dropped, so that's nothing too crazy. 5 days. But if we go to a month, holy cow, look at the volatility, right? We were down here at 15. We went up to 72. It actually peaked at 82, right? 3 months, look at this. It has started jumping a month ago. And then it kind of stabilized. It's at 30. Boom, 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 boom. We're making huge jumps. We go to 6 months. And basically, again, it was right around February 20th is when it started going crazy. So we started to see a little volatility here. But it really started going crazy in February. If we go back 5 years, I mean, we're at unprecedented. A couple different times, whatever was going on This would have been the end of the year where there were some bounces, a couple peaks. If we go to max, guys, we are at a level we haven't seen since the Great Recession of 2008. And it wasn't much higher than it is right now. And right now it's at 72. Again, if we go back to the 1-day chart, we were just at 80. What's that? 84.10. So it's down today, but 10 points. But holy smokes, guys. So again, this is the volatility index of the markets. So this kind of tells you the volatility of the markets, and the market's volatility kind of tells you the volatility of everything, right? We remember what happened when the stock market crashed last time. So again, supply in Arizona for the most part remains untouched. But here, let me show you just real quick my whiteboard tracking Arizona inventory. All right, guys, so this is the whiteboard in my office, well, the corner of it, tracking inventory. And you can see I run it every Wednesday. That's when inventory is low. Or I'll run it like really late Tuesday night. And if you guys can see, going back to August of last year, it did go up a little bit into October, but then it's basically been down. In November, it was back down under October, and then it's kind of hard to see. All these are green arrows down, meaning prices going up because less inventory, right? You have less supply. That pushes inventory up. So we were down, down, down every single week, right? Going into December, January, I've tracked it every week of January, and every single week this year has been down until 2 weeks ago. It barely rose, right? I mean, 30 houses went up, was very slight. And then this week was a bigger jump. When I ran it yesterday, it was up, what's that? About 300 units, which is decent. Now, I just started running it here in our county, and I took out the surrounding counties because they're very rural, and I took out anything over 90 days on the market, because in this market we've been so hot. If it's been listed more than 90 days, that basically means it's been FU priced. So I want to look at stuff that's priced correctly, where they actually want to sell, that's in true Phoenix area, which includes, Glendale, Scottsdale, Gilbert, Mesa, Chandler, Tempe, some other ones, but those are the big ones, etc. So we saw basically the same thing. It had gone, well, you can't really see because I wasn't tracking it until a few weeks ago, but it didn't go up a lot. 2 weeks ago, went up by, 44 units. But this week, from 56.35 to 59.05, went up almost 300 units as well. So of the inventory increase, majority of it was in the Phoenix area. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. But this is still super low inventory, guys. Just to give you an idea, we should be at like 30,000 units would be a balanced market in Phoenix, and we're still at under 11,000. So, and we were super hot up here when it's 13,000. So I'm not incredibly worried about supply, but if we start seeing this increasing 500 units a week, over and over or more, right? We start to be concerned. So we're going to monitor that, and we'll keep you guys posted on everything we do, right? I'm gonna go turn my light on now. It was glaring on the whiteboard, so I had to turn it off to show you guys that. But anyways, guys, peace, love, and real estate. We know who's in control. Go get yourself some deals.